Ba-da-da-dum, bum, bum, ba-da-da-dum, bum, bum, ba-da-da. Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Sun City in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1264. Staycations. 7 reasons why staycations are a good idea. There's all sorts of weather going on. There's stuff that's getting shut down. There's all this flu stuff going around and COVID and blah, 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 blah. And some people are like, yeah, we don't want to travel, but you still need a vacation. So why not take a staycation? So we're going to look at staycations. I love staycations. Staycations are the perfect way to get away from it all without having to go too far. In fact, you don't even, you can leave your house during the day. Your home becomes your hotel. I was about to say restaurant. But yes, it could become your restaurant. A staycation is, it helps save you time. It's stress-free. It helps save you money. And the thing that I like about staycations is there's no airports to check in. There's no expensive flights or hotels to worry about. I get to sleep in my own bed every night. I mean, isn't that the perfect thing? And I get to explore my local area. So there's just so much that staycations have to offer. So I'm going to run down the 7 reasons that I have written here. 1, it's a stress-free vacation. We've already covered that. You don't have to worry about hotels. You don't have to worry about what time you got to be at the airport. You don't have to worry about, all that expensive stuff that holidays have. Because one of the things we do with a staycation is that we get you to be number 2, which is creative. We get you to find creative ways because we make it inexpensive. Oh, that's also 0.5. Okay. So it brings out your creativity because now you've got to figure out what you can do. First of all, what weekend are you going to pick as your staycation weekend? Make it, if you want to make it a long weekend so you get even more time. So like one with a federal holiday, like this weekend has got a federal holiday on Monday. You've got President's Day coming up in February. You've got Memorial Weekend coming up in May. There's spring break coming up as well. So spring break will be a good long one. I get this, some people can, but it also means too that you're not having to worry about traveling during heavy travel times as well. When people think, oh, we got a long weekend, let's get out of town, and they're gone, and they spend all that time driving. So get creative. Look at the calendar. What weekend do you want to do this? And then start planning for it. And part of the planning in it is that, a staycation is also flexible as well because you have to, like any vacation, it starts raining. Well, now you can't go and do that tour that you had planned. Oh, but we can go and do this now. So you got a lot of flexibility in there as to what you can see and do. It could be, right, this is our free day. This day we're going to go hang out by the pool or hang out at the beach. Or we're going to go out on the boat. Maybe you own a boat on a lake. That's another good one for a staycation. Maybe you're going to go out on the lake for the day. But then the weather turns foul. It's like, okay, game day at home. It's flexible. You get to spend quality time. If it's just you and your spouse that's doing it, if you're just doing it by yourself, if you're doing it with family, you get to spend quality time with the other people that are in your life that matter. And if you're doing it by yourself, I do it with Zephyr every now and again, and because I look at places I can go with dogs. I get to spend quality time with myself and my dog. It's inexpensive. It can be inexpensive. Now, when I issue a staycation challenge, I recommend no more than $20 per person per day. And that includes your parking, your gas, entry fees, food. But there are some cheats to get around that. So get creative with some of your cheats. Things like, hang on, where did I put that? Oh, there's my list. Okay. So things like, what do you already have in your kitchen that you could use to make snacks and pack a picnic to go with you? Now, I've got this refrigerator cooler, which is awesome. It sits in my trunk. It gets plugged into the outlet, the cigarette lighter outlet in the trunk there. And, but I have it when I'm going to be using it, I put it inside the RV and have it plugged in so it's getting cold overnight. It's got a safety thing on it that doesn't allow it to get too cold. You set the temperature in there, and you can either have it as a fridge or a freezer. And it's really, really cool. And I loved it because when I went to my niece's wedding in California back in Thanksgiving weekend, I bought it inside the night before, had it plugged in. The next morning, it was perfectly cold. I was able to because I also knew where I was going to be staying as well. So I put my food in there, fruits and vegetables and energy and my energy stuff and all that sort of thing, and protein shakes, pre-made protein shakes and all that. I had coconut water in there as well, so I could make shakes on the road if I wanted to. But it was really cool because I could pull into a rest area, go to my business, come back, and then open it up, and I had cold food sitting there. And it's always good to cool it down to the temperature you want to start with, because there's going to be a time when you're going to have it unplugged for a little bit while you're packing the car. It was the first thing that went in the car. No, it wasn't the first thing. I just knew I had to leave a space for it. That's what it was. But it worked beautifully. And when I got to the hotel in LA that didn't have the kitchen, because I was going to be staying at a residence in the following week, I took it up to my room. I plugged it in there. I had access to cold food. I was still able to make my shakes, and I had access to cold food. I could take my cold meats with me, all my protein food stuff, vegetables, some fruit that was in there. And it kept it nice and cold. So it worked really, really well. And then when I got to the residence in the following week, I thought, oh, they've got a full refrigerator there. Yay, I'll unpack it into the refrigerator. And then I get a dining table over here, and I got the desk over here. And guess what happened? The cooler went on top of the desk. It got plugged in because I was like, okay, I got to get this unplugged. It get unpacked quickly now because I had to go to the storage unit to pick up a carload of stuff. And when I came back, it's all plugged in, and I was sort of like, I really don't feel like unpacking that. And slowly throughout my week there, it slowly got emptied into the refrigerator. But of course, I was eating the food at the same time, so there wasn't really much that ended up in the refrigerator. But, I still had it nice and cool, and there was a supermarket nearby that I whipped over to stock it back up for the trip home. It also meant, too, that I made sure I had space in there, so when I stopped at Dateland and got those dark chocolate covered dates, I would have a space to put it. But of course, my fourth time there, and 4 years since I've been stopping at Dateland every year, once a year. The first time I went there, I got the dark chocolate covered dates. Next time I went there, they had none. The second time I went there, the third time I went there, they had none. This past time, they had none. And I looked at the guy and I says, I've been stopping at this place every at least once a year for the last 4 years. The only time I've ever had the dark chocolate dates was the first time I stopped here. Ever since then, you guys have been out of stock, and I come in at different times of the year. And he goes, well, I'm sorry, I'm not sure what to say to that. And I'm like, you guys need, they're popular. You guys need to stock them more regularly. So I don't even know if they even make them anymore. Maybe I should have asked him that question. Yeah, because I didn't see any empty shelf space anywhere. So maybe that was the problem. They don't have them anymore. They just say, oh, we're out. Because if they say they're out, people want to come back again. That's a wicked marketing tip. That's a wicked marketing tip. Just tell people, oh, we're out. So when they come back the next time, oh, we're out. So they're getting people, they're judging how popular are the dark chocolate covered dates. Do we actually need to have them back in stock again? And let's just keep telling people for now that we're out. So it makes it feel like they're really popular or something. That's a wicked marketing technique, because you get people like me who come back, who pass through there once a year, and they don't have any. I'm going to have to think about that one. I'm going to think about my questions next time. But anyway, so back to, so you can get a cooler like that. It's not, especially if you go out a lot during the day and things, and you need to have cold, and you want to take cold food with you for a picnic. These refrigerator things are easy to carry. Well, my one is, I think it's a 23 gallons. It holds a bit. For one person and a dog, it holds a bit. So what do you already have in your kitchen that you could use for, anything you have up until the time you start your staycation that you have in the house that you could use? What do you have around the house? Do you have food in your house? When did you last do your grocery shop? What things do you want on your staycation that you can pre-buy? Because it's only on the actual days that the $20 per person per day comes into account. It's not leading up to that. So make sure you fill up your gas tank the evening before your staycation starts. And pack your snack and get all your snacks and foods and everything ready to go, and have them already pre-packaged in the refrigerator. So, you come home from the end of the first day and you relax and all that. You get up the next morning, you just grab the pre-planned meals and snacks for that day into your cooler, and you're out of there. And you don't have to worry about preparing. So prepare everything in advance. So when the day happens, you've got it, and then go through and find, the idea of a staycation too is to get to know your local area. Where am I up to on my list? I don't even know. It's designed to get to your local area. So being inexpensive, go on Google and go and put in there something like free activities and then the name of your town or your city. And they will come up with a list. And some of them will have, especially if you've got museums that you pay for to get into. Oh, excuse me. They may have once a month where it's free for children to get in at a certain time, between certain time periods. Or it could be that it's free if you go on that day. If you're in San Diego, they have an annual pass for all the museums and galleries there, which is a really cool pass to have. But if you don't have one of those and you are a local resident and you have a driver's license that states on there that you're that you live in San Diego, or one of its surrounding, the San Diego County area, then you can get into museums and galleries for free on Tuesdays. Bet you didn't know that one for those that live in San Diego. So look around and see, is there anything like that in your town where on certain days you can get in for free? And then if you go to something like, I think it's citypass.com, they have package deals there where you can do, especially if you have like amusement parks there, where you can do certain amusement parks, and you got like a 2-week window to do them, and you get this really cool deal on the pricing and stuff. They package things together for that. So look for inexpensive things. Look for deals. What annual memberships do you have? Do you have an annual membership to the local zoo? Do you have an annual membership to, like when I was living in San Diego, I had an annual membership to the San Diego Zoo, and it also covered the safari park. And I would just love going down there and just walking. And every time I got an urging for a funnel cake, so the San Diego Zoo, you go in the main gate, you hang a left, you go down by the kids area, and there's a little hut there that does funnel cakes. It's like, yes, because I was always looking for funnel cakes, and we would never think to go to the local fair the county fair when it was on, like a mile from our house, to get funnel cakes. We did one year. We took my grandson with us, and he basically slept through the whole thing. He was tired. We tired him out on that trip. But we got funnel cake. And there was another time I had an urging, it's going to be somewhere around that does funnel cake, not just the fair. So I Googled, funnel cakes near me or something like that. And it came up with the San Diego Zoo. I'm like, San Diego Zoo? I have a membership to the San Diego Zoo. Do they have funnel cakes? And so I go and I have a look and found the little funnel cake places over by the kids' play area. So to get to the kids' play area, you walk in the main gate, you hang a left, and just follow that road all the way down, and you'll come to the kids' play area. And over on the right-hand side is a little shack that has the funnel cakes in it. And so, like once or twice a year, I would go in there and treat myself to funnel cakes, and didn't have to wait for the fair. Didn't have to worry about the crowds or anything. It was awesome. But there's things like that. What annual passes do you have that can get you into places? Because then it's not going to cost you anything to go there, and then you can save up that $20 per person per day. But the $20 you could, if you wanted to, roll the money, whatever you don't use on day one, and as far as your kitty goes for your $20 per person per day, whatever you don't use that day, you could roll it over to the next day and give you a little more, or you could be brave, be creative, and go $20 per person per day. Whatever we don't use, we don't get to use it the next day. We start with a fresh $20 per person per day, and have the money on hand. So you actually got the cash. You got it in cash. Remember, tips come out of that too. Tips, parking, anything that you purchase that day comes out of that kitty. And it's very interesting when you get down to being just one person. It's like, do I really want to go through that drive? No, I've got my food in the back. I'm going to be good and take my food in the back. Or it could be you save your $20 up for that evening, and on your way home you pick up food to have for dinner that evening. It could be a takeout or something, and you go home and you have that. Think about creative ways that you could use that $20 per person per day. And then you get to judge for the challenge whether or not you get to roll over whatever's left over to the next day. Or you're just doing $20 per person per day. That's it. So get creative. So get creative with the money. All right. So we've covered stress-free vacation. We've covered creativity, flexibility. If you want to spend a day by the pool or the beach, go for it. That's free. You could even be in your own backyard and turn it into a party zone back there. Pull out some decorations and decorate it and make it like a tropical getaway or something. And if you're by yourself or with if it's just a couple of you, what things could you do to make it a tropical retreat in your backyard for the day? Or maybe you want to you come up with some other theme that you want to decorate back, and you get it done beforehand. So when you go out the next day, and if it rains, you can still go swimming in a pool when it rains, because you're going to get wet anyway. This is something that has absolutely astounded me for years. For years, I still don't get this mentality. You're swimming in a swimming pool, in an outdoor swimming pool, and you're swimming in the pool, and it starts to rain, and you get out and go and stand under the shelter. What gives with that? Why? You're already in the pool. You're wet. Now, if there's thunder and lightning in the area, totally get it. Totally get it. Because you don't want to be in the water when there's thunder and lightning, well, especially lightning around. But if it's just raining, why do you get out of a pool where you are wet and go and stand under the shelter so you don't get wet from the rain? This has puzzled me for years. For me, the best time I love to go swimming is when it's raining. I love swimming in the rain. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's a quirky thing I have, but the only time it's like dancing in the rain. Go outside and dance in the rain. It's like, go swim in the rain. If it's raining, go swim. Unless there's lightning around, then stay well away from the pool. Safety things. But it's sort of like, I just don't get, if somebody could explain that to me, I would love to hear a reason for that. Why people, when it starts raining, gets out of the swimming pool. I mean, for me, that's the best time to be in the pool. But if somebody can explain the logic behind that one, I would love to hear it. And when you're doing these staycations, you're making memories along the way. Take pictures. The phones. Oh, yes, this is one thing I don't have on the list. The phones. The only time you can use the phone on the staycation is if you need to use it for the map. Yes, if you need to use it for the map, or if you're keeping a running total of the money that you're spending, so you know how much you've spent. But apart from that, and taking photographs. But no spending time on the phone playing games. This is quality time with yourself, with your partner, your spouse, your friend, whatever. It is your quality time with your family. So phones are not allowed unless you're taking photographs or you're using the GPS. But even when you're driving from point A to point B, talk. What about what you just saw, or where you're going to go and what you're going to see, and those sorts of things as well. So you're making memories. You're getting that quality time in, and you're making memories. And the biggest benefit about doing all the staycation, because it's out of the ordinary and it's not something you typically do every weekend, the brain's getting a reboot. Yes. Remember, we've been talking about the brain getting rebooted. Was it Tuesday? I think it was Tuesday when we were talking with Nicole. We were talking about rebooting the brain. That is the time the brain get, travel, vacations, even if it's a staycation, you're doing a mini reboot on your brain, which means you're helping your body relax. You're rebooting the brain, which means the brain is going to be more, it's going to be more creative, more productive. Your work's going to be more productive. Your energy levels are going to increase because you've had that break. It's, just something out of the norm. And because it's a staycation, don't cram everything into a day and pack it like, right, it's 10 o'clock. We've got to be at the library for this event. Go to that event. Okay, now we're going to go over to here and do this event. Yeah, no. Be flexible. Allow time spaces in between. If you want to go to a particular event, put it in the staycation itinerary and go out for the day. It could be that in the meantime, you go into one of the local gardens and you have a picnic for a snack or a picnic for lunch. And you just wander around the gardens and go take the kids to the playground. And don't take them to the normal playground you go to, take them to a different playground. Maybe there's a public park there, like a botanical gardens or something, and they've got a kids play area in there. Some of those play areas have picnic tables. Great place to go for lunch. You can sit and relax and eat and have quality time, and the kids can run off and play on the equipment, and you've got them there in full view at the whole time. If you're going to be going to parks and stuff, especially if it's got a lot of green space and things, put a soccer ball in there or a frisbee, something like that, something that you can get out and play with. Or if you play catch with your kids, take the baseball mitts and the baseballs with you so that you can play catch. Make sure you take blankets so you can lay on the ground, that sort of stuff. I love doing staycations. It's amazing the things that you can find. It is amazing the things that you discover. And just your brain reset is awesome. So I'm wrapping up here now, and we're going to go over the 7 reasons why staycations are a good idea, and that is stress-free vacation. You get to be very creative. You've got flexibility on what you can see and do, and you don't have to do everything on weekend. You can turn around and say, we're going to do this once a quarter, or we're going to do it once a month. Which would be perfect because now you've got things that you can put on a to-do list. You can actually create a to-do list for flexibility and things. And if the weather turns foul, maybe you can switch out one of the other activities that you're going to do at a later date. Quality time with family and friends. Have friends go with you too. Challenge them for a staycation and spend a weekend with family and friends. That'll be fun. So what we've got: stress-free vacation, creativity, flexibility, quality time, inexpensive, making memories, and it's a brain reboot. That's it. Those are the 7 things, and you can have so much fun with them. I love staycations. Staycations are just a way to get out and do something different. Your home is your hotel, which means that you get up in the morning and you leave, and you come back in the evening to sleep. And maybe if you want to do a barbecue at home, get the grill on or something like that for one of the evening meals. Make sure you buy the meat beforehand. Yeah. Make sure you got all the food beforehand, because then you're not having to spend stuff on food and drinks and that sort of stuff. You can find other things, because that $20 per person per day, how far can you stretch it? What can you fit into the day? How many activities can you fit into the day? You may not even use it that day. Who knows? Maybe you pick up dessert to take home that evening for dinner. So when you get home, go via a Dairy Queen or something and get dessert, and then take that home and put it in your freezer, and then go and have your dinner and then have your dessert, or have the dessert first and go home and have dinner. There's always that option too. Anyway, I'm out of here. Please put down below in the comments any ideas that you have for a staycation. What staycations have you done? What things did you discover? Do you do challenges with yourself on a staycation as to how much money you're allowed to spend each day? Just drop your comments in the comments down below about ideas for staycations. What area are you in? What are some of the things you want to go and see and do on a staycation? Start planning those. We've got summer coming up. Kids are going to be out of school. They've got spring break coming up sometime soon too, and the kids are going to be out of school. What's something that you can do? If you're not going to be traveling, why not do a staycation at home and keep the kids busy that way? Anyway, have a super fantastic sparkling weekend, and we'll catch you guys tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hei konara.